be the beginning of going live. It usually takes a few seconds to get going, so we'll let people pile into our virtual room. But everyone, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll just give it a couple more seconds. This is our fifth episode, Pamela and Jesper, of this series, episode 5 of Archi-Tech Talks Live. And yeah, we're super excited today to have Pamela and Jesper, co-founders of Finch, which if you guys have seen our latest BIM 2.0 video, or you've seen videos all over the internet of these guys, Finch has been really doing some cool stuff in the world of optimizing architecture with AI, computational design, floor plan layouts. And you're definitely one of the ones I get asked about a lot in this new era of BIM 2.0, for lack of a better term. So guys, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us back.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, of course. Yeah, that's a great point. So we're doing more of these where we invite people like yourselves from different startups to come talk about what you're doing. Obviously, you guys have been on the podcast already, so if you guys want to hear maybe a bit more of the founder story is what the podcast is for, you can go and check it out on our channel. We had both Pamela and Jesper talk through that, which was great. And the lives here is really about giving you guys a platform to just show what you're doing. The best way to kind of hear about your tools is for you guys just to explain it yourselves rather than me regurgitating it through another video. So yeah, we're super excited to have you guys. I know Finch, you've got a lot of excitement and hype. You have, was it 80,000 people on the wait list?
It's actually grown since the last time, so we have over 100,000 right now.
Wow, so 100,000 people waiting.
It's very exciting to be in this space right now.
Yeah, to get your hands on Finch. It's a very exciting time, I think, with the world of computation and AI, and I think what you guys are doing is really interesting, merging this world of automation, but you still seem to give designers a lot of freedom to move things and customize things, which I think is great. Anyone that's listening, this is the first time doing one of our Archi-Tech Talks lives. The format is that these guys will present for 20, 30, 40 minutes, however long they want to go for. And then you guys can ask questions, and you do that by putting your questions in the comments below the video. I'll monitor them as these guys are presenting, and then I'll read them out for these guys to actually answer and maybe demo, if they can, what the thing you're asking about is. So don't be shy. There's no bad questions. Put them in the comments. Hopefully there'll be lots of them. Otherwise, Jesper and Jesper, I'll hand over to you guys to share your screen and take it from here.
Thank you. So you're starting, Pamela?
Yes, I'm sharing
Very
my
nice.
screen right now.
All good. We can see it. It's looking good.
Great. Okay, again, thank you for having us back. As mentioned before, my name is Pamela Wallgren. I'm a co-founder and CEO here at Finch. And Finch is a generative co-pilot generating floor plans with AI. And I usually like to describe Finch as a solution where architects and AI design together. This is key for me as an architect myself. I want to be able to customize, steer, and interact with everything that is being generated in Finch. And you will see here exactly today how this works in the live demo here soon. And even though it's early days for Finch and BIM 2.0, Finch is a solution that is being used by leading architecture firms worldwide. You see some of the logos here on the screen. And we have recently launched a free and basic tier for anyone to access. But the waiting list just keeps growing, as mentioned before. And we're up to over 100,000 people waiting to access the floor plan generation in Finch. We have decided to keep this limited to our enterprise firms because we want to be able to be very hands-on when it comes to training, implementation, and also support in building up the firm-specific data set that we'll go through here soon. So the pace that we are right now is that we're onboarding approximately 6 firms per month. And I will also share how you can get access after the demo. Before, I want to talk about the topologies that we support. It's primarily residential, and anything adjacent to residential, like hospitality, elderly homes, student housing, etc. And now we also support master plans through our latest feature called Bundles in Finch. I also want to mention a few words about the workflow in Finch. We want to give our users full design freedom, so you can bring any design, boxes or curves, whatever you prefer from one of these solutions, Rhino, Revit, Grasshopper, or Autodesk Forma, and stream it to Finch through one of our plugins. In Finch, you can then populate that building by generating floor plates or floor plans and get instant key figures to understand how your design is performing. And once you're done with your design in Finch, you can download it as a native Revit file, structure as proper BIM geometry, with families and model groups directly into Revit. I would say that this is the most popular workflow, but you can also bring this back to Rhino or Grasshopper if you prefer that. So with that, I'll hand it over to Jesper, who will share a live demo of this workflow.
Very nice. Thank you for that introduction. I'm going to share my screen. Give me a second here. There we go. Let's share the entire screen. Okay, so I'm here for the live demo, and of course there's a lot of things that we can go through in Finch. Just unfortunately not time to go through all of it in this demo, but I'm going to focus on three things. The first one is the floor plan library. This is your custom library that each of the firms that Pamela mentioned has their own, and you also as an architect has your private one. And this is the foundation when you start generating plans in Finch. Then we're going to jump into a project. This is the demo project that we're going to work with, where we're going to generate circulation and unit mix, and then the third thing we're going to do is to generate compliant floor plans. So it's the floor plan library, circulation and unit mix, and then some floor plans. But before we dig into it, there's a couple of small things I would like to show, and that the first thing here is the platform itself. What is Finch? And it is a browser-based platform, runs in the browser, in the cloud, so anyone can log in there. You don't have to install anything. This is how it looks. This is 56 and Leonard Street, one of my personal favorite projects by Hartog and de Meuron. And in Finch, you can see that everything is very nicely structured. You can see we have the residential part, we have the circulation, the technical parts of the building, and this is what Finch is about, taking control of the spaces and the programs in your building. And we can go one step further and look at the spaces. Okay, where do we have the spaces in this building? So we have bedrooms. This is where they're situated along the facade. Where do we have the dining areas and so on? So we're in total control of the project in Finch. And maybe one of my favorites, the unique units. It's especially fun in an extreme project like this. You can see where do we have the repetition and so on. Okay, so that's about the platform. I'm thinking that we're going to go through the plan library. We're starting there, and then we start generating things. So let's jump into the plan library. And Pamela, feel free to jump in if I skip something or you want to add anything here. Sometimes I get really excited when demoing. That's how it's going. That's how it's supposed to be when you like your product. Okay, so this is my floor plan library. Here I have my designs that I have created or created in together with the AI. I also have another library called Acme Archi-Tech. So this is the demo organization I'm in. So here are plans from me and my colleagues here, and this is a great way of sharing knowledge within an organization and reuse each other's design and learn from each other and so on. So instead of reinventing the wheel for each project, you can always see what your colleagues are doing and get inspired of each other and so on. The way it works, if I go into my plan library here, I'm going to go into one of my floor plans here. This is a floor plan that I have saved. If you're familiar with any CAD or BIM tool, you know how it works. You draw a line, you type a distance, and so on. It works the same in Finch, so you have total design freedom to design whatever you want. And the thing that is special with Finch is that everything that you have designed is also adaptive, as we say. So I can always go in and stretch it a little bit. So if I pull this wall here, you can see that the whole floor plan is stretching a little bit. I would say that that's typically not how architects would love their plans to stretch everything equally. So then you can go in and set some constraints. For example, say my corridors here, I would like to lock the width of them. And then the next time I stretch the plan, you can see that the width of the corridor is locked while the other adjacent rooms are taking up all of the stretch here. And this is a great way of communicating with the intelligence in Finch how you would like your design to behave. And of course, you can customize it however you want, upload your own furniture. I mean, I can go in here, for example, say, I would like to make it a little bit more personal. I'm going to add a acoustic guitar in my bedroom. There you go. And this is key in Finch. I mean, you can always make everything your own. But enough about the plan library. Let's jump into a project. So here I have a demo project. It's a site in Manhattan. So it's a fairly wide building here. I'm going to go in here and generate some circulation, unit mix, and floor plans, as I mentioned earlier. But before that, I would like to give you some context how all of this came into the web app, basically. So if I open Rhino, here we have Rhino. We have a plugin to Rhino here where I loaded the same project. So just as Pamela mentioned, you can go through Rhino, Revit, Forma, or Grasshopper. And then you simply load your project in our extension, and then it syncs back and forth between the web app here. So if I were to, I'm just going to refresh my browser here. If I were to start working with my project, let's give it a second here. For example, I'm assigning residential to the top floors here and retail to the bottom floors here. Then all of the things I do here also syncs back into Rhino like this. And then at the other side, when you're done with your project in Finch, it also goes out to Revit as native Revit geometry. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when we have come a little bit further here in the demo. Okay, so let's jump into the top floor. The first thing I'm going to do is to generate a corridor here and a unit mix. I'll simply select the top floor here. I click in generate, unit mix and corridor, and fire up the algorithm here. Then we can add a bunch of different inputs here to the algorithm. For example, I can say I want to use a stairwell attractor here in the middle because I want all of my stairwells to end up in towards the courtyard of the building here. And then of course I can specify egress distances and all of these kind of things. One fun thing I usually like to show is that if I force the algorithm, now it thinks 4 stairwell or 4 cores seems to make sense here. If I say no, I insist on having 1 core, then you can see that the software also warns me that, okay, this part of the corridor will not follow the fire regulation due to the, or based on the input I've given the algorithm, in my case, almost 23 meters here. So you can force it however you want, but it will tell you that here is something that you might want to keep an eye on. But I was happy with the first solution here, where we had the cores in the corners and the end here. So let's pause the iteration here and bake it into my floor. Okay, so that's the first step of the corridor. Everything that I generate in Finch is also editable. So I can simply go in and say I would like to pull this wall, snap it to this wall here, for example. I can say I would like to make this 4,600 millimeter. I can type the distances, or we can use the align tool. Simply say this wall I would like to move. I would like to align it with this wall, very similar to Revit, and that wall. There you go. So we know that, you know, whatever Finch generates, we're dealing with architects, with creative people. It's important that you're able to take the project wherever you want it to go. Okay, so here I have my circulation in place. The next step is to generate my unit mix. So then I select an area where I would like to do that, and I click generate a unit mix around an existing corridor, because I've already made the corridor. And this also, of course, then works with the repurposing of other buildings, for example, going from offices to residential and so on. Let's fire the algorithm up here. It asks for a number of things. First of all, it's the sizes. You can specify whatever you like here, the ratio, the sizes, and so on. And then it tries to populate it as well as possible. And here's a number of input parameters. For example, one of my favorites is the shape aware. If I were to pull that one up a little bit, then it tries to snap to things it finds in the shape. For example, a nice wall that aligns here with the corridor and similar. But of course, the more of these kind of walls you add, the more units that doesn't hit the sizes exactly you also get. So there's always a trade-off, and that's up to you as an architect to make this kind of decisions. Okay, but I'm happy with this one, for example, so I'm just going to stop it and bake it. There you go. I can always have a look at how many unique units I have in the project. Very nice. So everything I've done up until now, I've uploaded my mass from Rhino, I generated the corridor, and I generated the unit mix. All of these things are included in Finch Basic that anyone can sign up to. The next step where we're going to go in and generate floor plans, this is what's part of Finch Enterprise. Did I skip something, Pamela, or am I doing good?
Doing well.
Doing well. Nice. Okay, so let's start generating some floor plans then. So it's very simple. You simply go in here, and I'm going to open my space type here so I can see that the corridor is here. Very nice. You simply select the unit, click generate floor plan, fire it up, and then we give Finch a couple of seconds to analyze the unit here. And what it does is it finds where the corridor is, where the outside is, and where the neighboring apartment is. And that is to make sure that the bedrooms end up facing the outside, you enter the apartment from the corridor, and so on. And then I'm getting some results presented here at the left side. First of all, I have my own floor plans. So this is floor plans from my own plan library that has been manipulated a little bit to fit this precise scenario. I have some results from my colleagues that I can browse and have a look and find some inspiration, or I can go down and have the Finch generated results looking like this. And I would say these AI generated results there's highs and lows. There's some really good inspiration to take on and work with. There's some that doesn't make sense as much. I would say that the colleagues' plans and your own are more of a kind of a stable thing of the things that you've designed yourself here. But my personal or how I usually start a project is that I let Finch and the AI generate some suggestions, then I find something I like, and then I go in and customize it and make it my own. For example, let's go for this one. So I'm just going to assign it to the unit, say, okay, the kitchen doesn't need to be that big. I would like to move this door a little bit, make it go outwards, or it was a US one. I think that should go inwards then. And then really kind of, making it my own design. And then when I'm happy with the results, I can also say, save it to my library. And this way, building my own library for coming projects and so on. Okay, let's save this one. One of the things I like to do is that when I've made a plan like this, I always say copy. I select all of the similar apartment. I say paste, and then Finch automatically rotates it and fits it into place, and it's always linked as well. So if I go in here, for example, I say, okay, I would like to add a sofa here, for example, like this, and maybe a nice table, just table. Let's see if I can find. I'm looking for a specific one here. I would like to have this one. There we go. And I save it, and then of course you can see that it ends up in all of the units. And the same thing when you then send it to Revit, then these units will still be linked groups. So if you update in one, it updates in all of them. Okay, so that was the first part. Next, I would like to generate some more floor plans here, but I would like to inform the algorithm a little bit more about my preferences. So then I'm going to head into the graph rules here. I'm going to say that all of my bedrooms need to be, maybe before we do that, I touch upon it because we haven't gone through the graph here. In the background, working in Finch, we map all of the architecture, all of the spaces as nodes. It's the dots you see here at the screen. And then we map the relationships between these nodes. And this is the foundation in our system. That is how we make sure that you go from the corridor into the apartment so you don't enter through the toilet and so on. And then we can apply some rules. We call them graph rules to this. For example, if I say that all of my bedrooms need to be more than 15 square meters, you can see that I got a warning here actually that my bedroom is smaller. And I would like to say that all of my bathrooms, let's see, should be more than 2 square meters, just as an example here. The next time I fire up the generation, this will guide the floor plan generation. And let's give it a couple of seconds here. Here we go. And if I open the compliance panel here, you can see that my own design actually doesn't follow the rules that I've set up, but we still show them. So then it's up to you as an architect if you want to try to make something of it, or you can of course hide it. But if you scroll down here to Finch, then we can see that we get some generated results that actually follows the rules that you have set up here. And then of course, as I mentioned, you can also just show fully compliant if you don't want to, be bothered with the non-compliant ones. And then I simply select one of the plans that I would like to. I think that was 15 square meters was a lot for the bedroom, but I'm going to choose some of this anyhow. Just give me a second. Maybe let's go for that one for now. There you go. And the same thing here, I can always, paste it into the similar units. Let's go. There you go. And then I can work my way throughout the building here. Let's go for this one as well, the small one, while we're at it here. So we almost have a full. make a quick one. It was a very narrow apartment. I'm gonna copy it, paste it. And I mean, here I'm freestyling live here, and just in a couple of minutes, we basically filled the whole floor plate here with apartments, and we are in total control of all of the square meters. We know whether it's accessible and so on. And after this, when you're done with your design in Finch, either you send it back to Rhino for visualizations and so on, or you send it to Revit. That's probably the most popular flow, and it becomes a native Revit BIM model. So all of the walls become real Revit walls, all of the slabs, Revit slabs. So there's no meshes being sent into Revit, and that enables you to go into basically construction drawings after this very neatly. And that is, I would say, one of the more popular features. Pamela, are we on track? Anything you would like to add here regarding the floor plans?
More perhaps about how to copy it out to the rest of the building.
Yeah, sure. I mean, now this is of course a simple building. I can show you another example of a more complex thing later, but you simply select the story. I like to hit Control C, Control V, give it a couple of seconds to process the whole project here. And just as earlier on, it's linked also in 3D. So if you change anything on the top story, it changes all of the stories. And here it's also really easy to now have a look at, okay, here's my bathrooms and here's my kitchens. I mean, just checking the vertical alignment, it's very nice and so on. And you might wonder, I mean, this was a fairly simple project, boxes. Does it work in other shapes? Yes, indeed, it does. We can go in this project, for example. I mean, there are limitations, especially when it comes to big apartments, like a penthouse in 500 square meters and so on. There we still struggle. But one thing that we've been working on quite a lot lately is this kind of organic shapes and so on. So if I were to head into this one, click Generate Floor Plan, we should see some results popping in here. Just give it a couple of seconds. Yes, here they come. I mean, just as I mentioned, some of them are actually looking really nice. Some, I mean, I think I have some improvement potential, I would say. And then I have some of my own floor plans that I have furnished nicely and so on. And of course, I do not have any floor plans in my library that has this particular curved shape, but I have a very similar L-shaped apartment now that Finch has rearranged a little bit, you know, stretched and made fit this particular unit nicely. And then I can assign it to the unit, continue working with it. I think this should be there. There you go. Posting the change. There you go. Yes. So what we've done here so far, we've connected the web app to Rhino and uploaded a mass. We generated a corridor, we generated a unit mix, and then we generated floor plans with or without the graph rules, all in, I would say, 20 minutes, maybe even 15. There you go. That is Finch, the gist of it.
Very cool.
Great, Jesper. Thank you for the demo. Shall we continue with the slides? What's new and what's under development?
Yes.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's my slides. Yeah, sorry. So what's new in Finch? There's a couple of exciting things here. I can actually maybe demo the first one here, but the first one is at least it's speed drawing with AI Copilot. So what you've seen here in the demo is that our AI generate floor plans, and then you can go in and edit it and so on. One thing that we're working a lot on is how to uh, incorporate the intelligence while you're editing and having the AI suggest things while you're designing and while you're drawing, basically. The second one is to generate floor plans in Revit. This was also released a couple of months ago, where we actually have Finch running inside Revit, so you can generate a floor plan within your Revit model. And that is a great way to start if you're not ready for taking the big leap up in the cloud here. The last one, bundles to design master plans. So anyone that has tried to work with 30 buildings in Revit run into some performance issues. The same thing for all software, basically. So the way we solved it now is that we can, so you can design single building in single variants, as we call it, and then we bundle everything to one big master plan file, and that enabled tremendous performance even when you're working with thousands of units. So that is also really exciting. What's next? So things that we're working on right now is besides the native Revit export, you will also be able to export an IFC model. And that is the first step for everyone that's not working with Revit, for example, the Archi-CAD users and so on. We're also looking more into other typologies. The one we will start with is offices. Right now we are residential first, but offices is the next one here on the roadmap. And then for next year, we also going to enable our users to start directly in Finch and modeling a mass in Finch instead of starting in Rhino or Revit. We will not remove the extensions that we have already. I mean, we believe that this is crucial for our users to be able to go between the different software, and that Finch should fit into their workflow, not the other way around. So that's what's new and what's coming next here. Do you want me to demo the speed drawing here, Pamela? Quickly, I could do that.
I think we can save it for the Q&A.
Save it for the Q&A.
Great. And before we move to the Q&A, I would like to share how Finch is being used and loved by some of our customers. So first off, we have Nordic Office of Architecture. They're based here in Norway. They have built up a data set with more than 300 floor plans, and now they can use this as a base to generate compliant floor plans, just as Jesper showed, in their style, following regional and country-specific regulations. This allows them to scale and leverage their expertise in residential planning. The next customers I would like to highlight is Shepherd Robson, based in the UK. Finch allows them to explore more ideas faster. Tom Kyle here was able to increase the number of iterations that he could explore by 10x with a level of detail and granular data that was not possible before with traditional tools. And last but not least, we have Sweco, a global firm I think many are familiar with, which is reclaiming design time with Finch and can now deliver projects that wouldn't have been possible without Finch. And something that really resonated with Marco here is the balance of architecture control and AI, which brings us back to Finch being a solution where the architects and AI design together. So if you're interested in testing Finch, we have a free and basic tier you can access through our website, finch3d.com. Our free tier includes all of our editing tools, key metrics. You can even start building your own data set here. The basic version, just as Jesper demoed, includes the floor plate generator. And if you wish to go one step deeper and generate floor plans with AI, then it's the enterprise solution. It's also built for teams and includes the service of us building your own data set of your 81st plans and adding those to your data set. To get access, you can join our waitlist or send me an email to discuss how Finch can help streamline your workflow. And here are our contact information. So now we can move over to the Q&A.
Great. Wow. I'm kind of, I think every time you guys present something or show something, it's, my mind's a little bit more blown. Incredible work. It looks like an incredible tool already.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've definitely got some questions. I feel there's some questions in the live chat I'll come to. Yeah, so many cool things to touch on. My first question is, the plans at the beginning, you're saying like, do you manually draw them? How do you get those first plans going?
Yeah, so just as Pamela mentioned, for our enterprise customers, we add them usually. And if you're starting yourself as a free customers, you can, or the easiest way is to actually just start drawing them in the web app. When you're an enterprise customers, the way I've built most of my libraries is that I've generated with AI and then made it my own. So I generate with Finch and then make it my own. And there is actually one possibility to upload to Grasshopper as well, but then you need to be very Grasshopper savvy to make that work.
Yeah, I think that's been a really cool thing. Is I keep saying like that. Your very first viral video, right? It was like this thing, and I was kind of like, I can see how you could script that, right?
Yeah.
But then to turn it into a tool that can do all these things and customize it is really impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah, thank you. And that is something that we've also, that has been one of the big challenges. How do we take this kind of parametric logic, infuse it with the AI, and then package it into something that an architect that doesn't like Grasshopper or coding can use in their everyday work? That has been the challenge, and I'm very happy that it went as well as it did.
I mean, we are many iterations in. In the beginning, everything was moving. If you moved a wall, everything around it was moving, and turned out that that's not how you want to design. So now we make sure that everything stays fixed. It's no longer adapting as you're deciding. So you need to commit and say, this is the plan I want to use, save it out, and so on.
Yeah. I also saw, as you're generating things, it's got like a counter of like X number of iterations.
Yeah.
Maybe just is that like in the background, and you're seeing what Finch has determined as the best iteration? Like, what are the iterations?
Yeah. So it's actually very similar to how, for example, Galapagos in Grasshopper works. That so it does thousands of iteration, but the things you see is only the best one at the moment. We are actually looking into and I think in the coming weeks, the ability to go back to have a look at other iterations that is not the best one at the moment. That is a feedback that we've got a lot. So that's going to come out here in the next coming couple of weeks, I would say.
Yeah. And also on that, I have to give you guys a compliment on the UI and UX, like the whole kind of click into a plan and just lock like the dimensions of the corridor and stuff. Really nice. I really like you just copy it into different units. I appreciate these things. They look so effortless when you do it. I'm sure they're like a lot of late nights trying to work out how to do
that. I mean, there is a couple of thousands of demos before this one as well, but I mean, I think this is also what happens when you're trying to stay focused. I mean, half of our team are architects. We use the product ourselves. You run into this kind of I mean, small things. One thing our Revit user said in the beginning, you could exit the apartment by clicking escape, for example. That felt like a really good idea. But turned out that all of the Revit users was hitting escape all the time and ended up, outside the project and so on. And then you remove that and kind of iterate together with the customers over time, and then it becomes like a very intuitive tool for architects at least.
Yeah, I think it's really intuitive, and I mean, I've seen you demonstrate before. You bring it into Revit, and it's all Revit native walls, Revit native doors, and all this kind of stuff. So like going from that, I mean, you can really go for some detailed level of plans really
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah.
Okay, let me read out a couple comments. See Jedaminas in the crowd. It says the UI is indeed awesome. So big fan. He's also based in Sweden sometimes. He's also in Japan these days, I see. A few people have asked, like, Titus mentions, is there any way to incorporate structural elements and things like that? And I guess the question is also, I saw you guys are going to expand to office layouts, and you're kind of focusing on layouts, but do you see yourselves expanding into other parts of architecture, like the structure, or maybe even one day the facade?
Yes, definitely. I mean, we started out with the biggest pain point that we experienced ourselves, and that was spending a lot of time with floor plans. We have from the start or believe that it's important to stay focused and solving one
Yeah.
problem really well. But of course, the idea going forward and is to expand that wedge both before the floor plans, but also after.
Yeah, and I mean, for us, it has been important to be able to launch something and iterate with customers. I mean, we're a fairly small team building this software, and if we were, I mean, if we were to say that we're going to do all of everything at once, I think that then it would take 6 years to get a working product out there. And for me, it's a, or for us, it has been a better way of getting a small wedge out there, see if it works, see if anyone cares, want to use it, and then kind of add things on top of on that one.
Yeah, and it has helped us being able to deliver, just as Jesper mentioned here, deliver value short term while we're building out the long term version, and then we can do that together with the firms that has partnered with us. I would say that most of the features that we're developing comes from the partners, from the firms that are using Finch. And again, this is why we're not opening up the waitlist for all 100,000, because we want to work really closely together with them, understand how can we make sure that we provide even more value for you, how can we support you in even more use cases, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I think I can see more and more firms will be begging you to open the gates. I mean, one of the questions was like, is the website free? Is it access? But you guys have available now. You can kind of test it out for free with some limited functions, and then there's already like a subscription where you can get the kind of core of the tool,
Yeah.
so people can use it today.
Yes, so we
Yeah.
have the free version, just as we mentioned. All the editing tools are included. You can start building out your own plan library. And then, of course, you can upgrade to Finch Basic. It costs 49 euros per month, but there is also a 2 weeks trial before you commit. And then, of course, you can reach out to us if you're interested in the enterprise. And then we can see if we can fit you in, and depending on when your projects are starting and so on.
Yeah. So yeah, that's exciting. People can actually get hold of it, which is great. Um, yeah, I think the other questions was, yeah, facade grids. Will that be in the actually? That's a good one. Grids. Are there grids in the background there? Are you guys doing grids and stuff like that? How does that work?
Yeah, I can actually show you something.
Yeah. And also, if you had some bonus demos there, you mentioned
I always have
live
some bonus
sketching.
demos. Uh, let's see here. Regarding
Well,
grid lines, I'm going to share my screen. Yes.
guys, add any more questions? I know there was a lot of comments, but not that many direct questions. Shoot them now whilst we're getting a little bonus demo.
Yeah, so something we are looking into a lot these days are vertical alignment and grid lines. And uh, so you can for sure upload grid lines both from Rhino or Revit and then use them to be snapped to in the web app. Oh, I can see that I'm opening a fairly heavy project here. I'm trying to push the. You will see why it takes some time when it opens. It's regarding the organic shapes and grids and so on. But while we're waiting, gridline is a great way of maintaining vertical alignments and so on, and also the generation of unit mixes and so on will snap to the grid line if you add that to the
Right.
structure.
So you can give it a bit of guide with the grid lines and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so here I have a project I'm working on, and if we head into this one, let's see, there you go. I've added some grid lines here and been generating walls that snap to these grid lines. And then, of course, I can, scroll through the building very easily like this to just see that everything follows the grid lines really, really nicely. And I mean, this is a great way of working with this kind of vertical alignment and so on. And also when you're in the unit, then later and drawing walls and so on, you can always snap to the grid lines, making sure that everything aligns perfectly. Uh, so I hope that answered the grid line question here.
Yeah. I mean, like this building is almost like a nightmare for drawing plans, right? It's like
Yeah.
every floor plan is totally different.
Yeah, but in Finch, the great thing in Finch there, maybe it takes too long to open it. Or actually, I can show it here in the same principle here in the Herzogen de Meuron project, where we have actually a facade that is stepping in, but at the inside we have the same uh, plans. So if I go into one of these plans, just give me a second here. Gonna turn off the grid lines. We can see that this plan is not only used in this apartment here, it's also used in an apartment. You can see the actually uh, bounds here of this apartment. So you can have the same plan in multiple different, shaped units, so to speak. So if I update it, and that is, of course, in a project like this organic one, it's just a game changer. I would say.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm
Properly
waiting for it
adapt
to load.
to
Yeah.
the building. There's also another good. A lot of people saying awesome, very impressive, amazing stuff. So you're getting a lot of love. Um, Titus just asked another interesting question. Is there a way to export the area data and program into like as an Excel or something like that?
Yeah, we have a CSV export here of all of the data,
Oh, cool.
and if you're a Grasshopper user, you can also just stream even more data, all of it out to Excel or Google Sheets.
Right, right, right. It's just it's a Finch plugin you can connect to all of this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, this is what I wanted to show. Now I'm freestyling here a lot, but regarding the nightmare of different shaped units. For example, if I go into this unit here, or maybe that one even, you can see that this is the facade of all of the 58 units that are using this plan. That
Oh,
means that
right.
I have this plan in 58 uniquely shaped units, and here you can see all of the facades. And this is just, I mean, this is not possible to do in any other software. This is something that I really enjoy working with when working with these more extreme projects.
Yeah, that's really impressive to see how many iterations you've got there.
Yeah.
Um, that's super cool. Yeah, a lot of people saying thanks, impressive. Someone's asking one other interesting constraint is the room area depth versus window area. I guess that's a little bit in the future, but I think what's the interesting thing I can see what you're doing, you know, to then start to interact with the facade and windows and stuff is kind of it's not a million miles away from the core thing that you're doing right now.
No, I agree. I mean, Informa is doing some interesting new things there at the outside, and we're connecting to them. So I think that can for sure. And I mean, my favorite workflow is doing some grasshopper facades and connected to the walls in Finch and so on. So I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do already now, but for sure in the future there will be facades in Finch as well.
Yeah. Let me bring the three of us back. Let's do one more. Someone's asking, is there a room program data preset? So like, oh yeah, can you import your target area and it kind of helps you, like you work backwards, like we want X amount of units and stuff, and it populates the space.
Yeah, so I mean, when you work with the unit mix, then you specify the ratio. I want 30% 50 square meter apartments and this kind of things. When you work with the floor plan, it is your floor plan library that kind of is the foundation to the generative thing. So so the space types you have in there. Is the space that then comes into the project as well,
Yeah.
basically.
You need to do a bit of homework as well, making sure your
Yeah,
mass
yeah,
is not like triple the size.
yeah, exactly.
You got to do some work, architects. You
Yeah,
can't just like you
yeah,
can't just be
yeah,
firing things in there.
yeah.
Um, guys, drop in any more questions. I know we're coming towards the end, but yeah, I was really blown away. I'm definitely gonna try and get my hands on it and give it a go. Maybe do like a little test
Yeah, you do
building or
so.
something.
And ping us if you need any support.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
And I mean, that goes to anyone. Of course, we talk a lot with our enterprise customers, but if there's anyone out there using free or basic, please feel free to reach out to Jesper and me if you need help, if you have feedback. We love to hear from our customers.
Yeah, you shared your details, and then I know you guys are also quite active on LinkedIn and also on Instagram. So make sure to give these guys a follow on Instagram and everything. People saying, yeah, I'm totally gonna test this. So there you go. We got some good feedback. Guys, is there anything else you want to throw in there? Any other announcements and things people should be aware of? I mean, you've already blown them away, so I think
yeah.
you're pretty much there.
Did you have a dev demo, Jesper?
I always have more demos. I
You
yeah.
can go for it. If
Yeah,
you
we
want.
can, let's throw something in there. Were you thinking about
Yeah.
the AI Copilot or the bundles? What were you thinking about, Pamela?
The AI Copilot.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Let's share my screen here again. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to create a new floor plan. This is actually up and running now, but if I'm just going to create a floor plan here from scratch, let's do some L-shaped version here. Then we have this one that's called suggestions that suggest what kind of space I'm trying to design, basically based on the graph technology. Of course, if you don't have any walls here, it will be a little bit confused in the beginning. But if I start to draw, I'm just going to freestyle something here. If I start to draw things, the more things I add here as we go, the better it will be to make sense of it. And already now, I think it's starting to kind of make sense here. I mean, this is all of what the AI think it could potentially be. Bedrooms at the top, bathroom hallways. Maybe let's make this one a little bit bigger. For example, if we were to add some space dividers here, it probably, yeah, it thinks that's a kitchen and so on. And this is the first step. And of course, then you can go in and, accept the things as you go, and things we look into here is how can this then guide other things, for example, doors and furnishing and these kind of things. Because in Finch here, we believe that the kind of the function of the room is the foundation to us being able to generate things in general. And it is really pleasing designing with it, to be honest. One thing that happened when I was playing around with it in the beginning, yeah, the storage, it makes sense. Let's add something more here, is that it I started to, I mean, so here you think it can be either bathroom or storage. It started to also, kind of inspiring me. I was, freestyling things here, and sometimes I thought like, okay, this is going to be a storage, but then Finch said, yeah, it's probably a bathroom, and I went like, yeah, maybe I should put my bathroom there. So it kind of became like a sparring partner when designing here, and that is something I really enjoy. Let's add all of the storage. Should it be storage, bathroom, storage? Yeah, let's go for that one. There you go. So this is also really exciting that incorporated the AI more in the manual editing tools. I would say.
Yeah, really cool. So it's almost like guiding you as you are creating your own plan here and there.
Yeah, exactly, and
Um,
suggesting more and more things. This is what's up and running. What we have under development is that as you accept the different spaces, I mean, you will get doors generated automatically. You get a furnishing suggestion and these kind of things.
yeah, nice. What's the learning curve do you find for people getting started with it? Does it take long for people to get to grips with it?
No,
I would
or you
say
go ahead.
it's quite fast. We usually do a first training session of 1 hour, then you're good to go. And then, depending on who it is, we always are available to add extra training or dive into something very specific, like now with the bundles or how to generate in Revit and so on.
And I
But
would
it's quite
say,
fast.
have you learned any BIM or CAD tool, you will
Yeah,
easily learn
That's a
Finch. I
good
mean,
point.
yeah, it
I
looks
think
pretty straightforward in a way.
most of our customers are pretty tech savvy. I mean, you need to be to master Revit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe just to pick your brain on one other thing you mentioned was like bundles and a master plans. Like I don't know if you show this or just explain like what do you mean by master plans? Would you start generating buildings and stuff like that, or yeah,
Yeah, so what we mean with that is actually, okay, let's
just
quick
do
last
a last bonus.
a last bonus here. Okay, so here in Finch, this is not something that we have gone through here, but in each project you can have different variants of building. So here I have designed a building, and in this variant I only have this skyscraper here I'm working on. And then my colleagues has designed other things. For example, Max or even Pamela here was working on another building. There you go, in a total separate file. And what we then introduced was bundles. So if I click, I think this is one of them. Then yeah, Tobias made a copy of this one.
Yeah.
Then this is multiple files linked into one file, and there's
Mm.
multiple advantages of working like this. The first of all is the pure performance. Then it basically means that you can have any number of buildings and still have snappy drawing of walls and so on. The second one is that if you're working on a master plan, you usually, I mean, a bunch of architects, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 even, then you can still work on each plot without anyone messing with your specific building, and everything is then gathered in this file where you can all go in and see the total unit mix of the whole master plan and these kind of things. So
Ooh,
performance
nice.
and multi-user, I would say, is the big benefits.
Yeah, so I guess that's really cool. In theory, if you kind of designed, I guess, would you almost be getting into kind of productizing the building? So, like, let's say, Big's Via Tower, right? They've
Yeah,
designed some specific building, but then they got another plot, and it just kind of adapts to the plot. You can really start to productize your designs, no?
yeah, exactly. And I think that's what it's all about, that architecture and your plans and design. It needs to adapt to new scenarios and new plots. I mean, all of the plots,
Yeah,
or most plots are unique, but you have your style that you would like to kind of apply to that
yeah,
plot, and that's what makes big and Foster and so on.
yeah. That's very cool. That's like really light bulb where you guys are going kind of in the future. Um, just kind of like the holy grail. It's so dumb as architects. We've designed something, we're just gonna throw it away
Yeah.
and like start again. Um, Amazing. Well, we've got a couple bonus demos there. We've got lots of great stuff in the comments. So people are really impressed. So congrats on what you built. It looks really incredible, and
Thank you.
definitely keep an eye on you guys on the future. And I'm sure we'll have you on in the future for the next iteration of Finch down the line.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming, and yeah, we'll be hosting some more firms like this, some more of the BIM 2.0 crew to share about this new world of all these new tools that are going on. Thank you guys for coming once again. Don't forget to check out our courses, events that we're coming up. That's how we actually make any money here on ATN. So go check that out and stay tuned for the next live, which we'll do next month. Guest still pending, but I think we'll be in the world of BIM 2.0. So stay tuned for that. And Pamela and Jesper, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys in the next video.
Thank you.
All right. Ciao, ciao.
Bye bye.